Good evening and welcome to the program, which will begin with the state government department left red-faced yet again. Responsible for managing millions of dollars of other people's money, the Public Trustee was only recently investigated for bullying and financial mismanagement. Now it's been dressed down for circulating pornography. Vassal Melandris with the viral trail the department itself was hoping you'd never see.
I was shocked to think that they would be doing that in there.
I think the key point here is that this has been going on for some time.
It's very typical of the bureaucracy of the public service that when there is a problem, the first issue is protection of the image of the agency.
But there's no hiding behind these images.
How many emails were there?
There were hundreds.
Pornographic pictures, lewd jokes, soft-core smut, circulating through one of the government's most sensitive departments.
To think that people are sitting around in those offices using their computers inappropriately and using taxpayers' money inappropriately on a very regular basis, really, people have got a right to be up in arms about this.
I would think they would be absolutely disgusted. They would be appalled.
It's been barely a year since a damning parliamentary inquiry ordered the Office of the Public Trustee to clean up its act, clamp down on allegations of bullying and sexual impropriety, and get back to its core business of administering the financial and legal affairs of the sick or incapacitated.
And here we are several months later, and it appears nothing's changed. In fact, from what we're being told recently, it may in fact be worse.
The latest sorry saga is this: a porn email trail dating back at least 4 years, discovered unwittingly by Adelaide evangelist John McBride, who had set up an email account for a friend.
So I set up a Gmail account for him, and he nominated the name that he wanted it to be called.
It was only when John fell out with his friend that he decided to access the account one last time to delete all his past correspondences.
I went in there, turned it off, and I noticed he had personal 1, personal 2, personal 3. He'd set up 3 little staggering stations, so I thought, wonder what he's got in here. And there was all this material from the Public Trustee that he had forwarded on from his PT Trust Officer address with all of the names and addresses of the PT men in the building, and a lot of it was of a pornographic nature.
John wasted no time contacting the Public Trustee as well as the Attorney General's Department to report his findings.
I said, if you bury this, the public will leave the office of the Public Trustee in droves. You'll have no clientele left. So it is in their best interest to be honest.
But fearing a cover-up, John opted to get in touch with Rob McKibben, a former PT employee and whistleblower.
This is certainly typical of the culture that I experienced over my years of public trustee, and anecdotal evidence suggests this has been the culture for decades. And in fact, some of the names that I saw recently have been there for a long, long time.
In 2003, Rob, who worked in IT, was asked to investigate the source of a number of pornographic images which had been reported by female staff.
So I presented my findings to management, and they were clearly defined and proven findings. And some weeks later, I went back to management.
There was to be no follow-up, no reprimands as far as he knew, and certainly no sackings.
Too hard basket, or let's just pretend we're going through the motions of actually investigating this?
Well, certainly I was part of the pretend let's go through the motions phase.
Well, I think, frankly, if you've got people using government-funded computers to access pornography in the workplace, it's hard for me to justify that they should keep their jobs.
Family First MLC Dennis Hood says the time for inaction or another long-winded investigation is over.
I mean, the government needs to go through that place with a broom and sweep it clean once and for all.
We understand a private forensic specialist has now been contracted by the government to identify just who is behind the smut. And in a statement today, we were told
At this time, 10 staff have received official advice of proposed disciplinary action.
Doesn't that completely contradict what that office is all about?
Absolutely.
Caring for people who can't care for themselves?
Absolutely.
In the meantime, John has been told to stop accessing the email account, which of course he's only done to alert the authorities.
But whether they will blow the whistle on their own underlings, I doubt it.
They're all part of the same group, the Department of Justice, and there is an old saying, Caesar judging Caesar, and that's just not on.
And we'll let you know the result of that disciplinary action. Vassal Melandris with that report.